Welcome to Meet the Biz. I'm very excited about today because I feel like this is a new friend that I'm meeting today.
Yeah.
I know, right? Oh my God, I'm just gonna get into it. Obi Ndefo. Obi
Yes.
Ndefo.
Hi, folks.
Hey, how are you?
I'm doing good. I'm doing good. Every day, I have a wildly different emotion. So, ranging from enormous depression to wild anxiety to serenity and discovery, and it's a roller coaster. It's a whole journey. This what's going on in the world. Yeah.
Wow, it really is. And I mean, you're so, from what I've seen through videos on the internet, you're so spiritual and
Yeah.
you're such a healer beside being an actor.
Right. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, obviously, acting, writing, directing is my life. It's in my bones and my blood. But I'm also a yoga teacher and holistic practices, and that was sort of my method of keeping balanced and keeping finances going in lean times of entertainment work. But also, I'm a very, very physical person. I'm a very physical actor. That's how I was trained, and I love transforming with character work and using my body as the my voice and my body. So a lot of my work usually it employs how to engage and maintain and develop my instrument, my body.
Yeah. I mean, the list of credits you have, I watched some of the clips and I was like, oh my God. I mean, of course, a regular on Dawson's Creek, Stargate, SG-1,
SG-1, yeah.
a couple of Star Trek Deep State Nine, Star Trek Voyager.
Yeah.
Oh my God, I loved it.
Yeah, it's been a fun range, I'm one of these people that's, since I was very young, committed to the arts, so.
Yeah. When did you say I want to be an actor, or did it just happen? Did you like flow into it?
That's a great question. I think as a child, I always, it's kind of typical, but I love Halloween. I love dressing up. I love, I was a TV kid in the 80s, so I was just really drawn to masks and to, there's a lot of storytelling culture in my background. My father is Nigerian. He's Igbo, which is a big storytelling arts culture. My mother's, Jewish, Russian, Polish Jew, and a lot of, tribal Jewish lineage of great writers and so I got kind of the double genetics of I'm a big time storyteller, big time.
I love that. I love that. So, getting to the Halloween, do you have a favorite? Do you remember your favorite Halloween costume?
That's a good question. I was a big Star Wars fan when I was younger, and still am. So I liked being Yoda. That was good.
Oh my God. I have
that,
a little Yoda above my bed. I was gonna run and get it, but we know.
Yeah. So
So wait a minute. You were Yoda.
Yeah, I was Yoda. And so that was Star Wars came out first when I was 5 years old. So that when you're 5 and that bomb gets dropped on you, it's like, whoa, this is cool. It's just the imagination. I've always loved just the effect I can have on people. I noticed when to elicit tears or laughter, and it's really addictive. It's really infectious, that catharsis that we do in theater and film and television.
Well, that's interesting, and just made me think that was one of your favorite Halloween costumes. And why I'm discussing this, because that was my favorite holiday for years. It's still in the
Yeah.
top 5.
Yeah.
But how you were Yoda and now you use yoga
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
spirituality and healing, which is
Yeah.
so Yoda-ish.
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely. That kind of Zen, kind of Buddhist type. These principles of acceptance and gratitude and appreciation and reverence for life. All these principles that we're really needing right now, I think, in this day and age.
Right.
Um,
Well,
so
you mentioned you act, you write. I saw that you sing.
yeah, a lot of musical theater. Yeah, I did more musical theater. Well, I went to Yale University undergrad. I went to the drama school at Yale in the acting MFA program, and did quite a good percentage of musicals. And part of me, nothing is happier than being in a musical on stage and singing and acting and dancing.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah.
Now it's like, have you ever done like a one-man show, a cabaret, or?
I have. There was a one-man show that was actually, I've been workshopping for years, which I usually do bits of, in venues, and it's called Candyland, and it's about my childhood as it relates to all the candy I used to eat as a kid, and my memories. It's all threaded through, like, my life is a Candyland board game. It's pretty interesting.
Oh my God. I'm
Yeah.
just thinking, because I'm a sugarholic. I've got to be very careful about it.
Yeah, me too.
Have you gotten more into healthy foods?
Extremely so. Yeah, I'm raw vegan for about 10 years, and I credit that to my survival in the hospital, and I went through this recent transition in the auto injury in August of this year, 8 months ago. So for those of you that don't know, I was literally shopping at a health food store, Erewhon, one of my favorite stores here in Los Angeles on Beverly Boulevard, and I was loading groceries into the trunk of my car, and a drunk driver swerved out of nowhere and hit me from behind and took out my legs. I almost died, and it's a miracle I'm still alive. And right leg was severed above the knee, and the left leg was shattered, had to be amputated above the knee half an hour later at Cedars-Sinai Hospital. And I credit my love of and fascination with healthy foods to my rapid recovery. Actually made the choice to do no pain medication after the second major operation.
Now, why was that? Why not pain medication?
It's just part of my practices that I believe deeply in the healing power of natural foods, of organic natural foods, and just holistic. And I see, what happens to some of the opioid addiction pathways. And I found there was a couple of medications I had to take very briefly right around the surgery. And I found that because I'm so in tune with my body, because of the mindfulness and the yoga and the healthy eating, that the pain medication wasn't really addressing the pain. It was kind of, especially the opioids. I started tripping and just threw me out. It didn't. So I did a lot of biofeedback and myself, meditating and mindfulness. And I realized that a lot of the pain was actually my body trying to heal. And the more that I could feel those feelings, as uncomfortable as they were, the more rapid. And the doctors were coming in saying, your tissues are healing so rapidly. They were just stunned, and they were looking at the food I was eating, because I had all the food brought in outside of the hospital. That was all what I was eating before, but even more medicinal, very bioavailable, plant-based, vegetarian, very life-sustaining food. I did a lot of probiotics instead of antibiotics, and I saw the effect. I never thought I would have to apply these principles of healthy eating and lifestyle to a trauma situation, but here I was, and it was working. So it's, someone doing a documentary about the whole process. It's kind of fascinating.
Well, and all that ties with Power of the Mind, too.
Yeah. Yes.
Which,
Power of the Mind. It was a real opportunity for me to use positivity in a scenario where, I'm still going through it, where it's, you could feel like your life is over. My legs are gone above the knee, and I'm an actor. How do I survive? How do I adjust? How do you view a life-changing circumstance like this,
That's a question that I had too. With, I mean, this just happened to you. I mean, it hasn't even been a year.
It was 8 months ago. Yeah, almost 8 months ago.
When did you accept? When did you say, okay, this is where I'm at?
I'm going to tell you something that's going to sound kind of unbelievable, but I have a feeling that the moment that it happened, when I sort of woke up on my back a few minutes later, amazing chef who's driving by pulled over and found me. I literally think, David, within a few minutes, something in me rose up and saw what was going on and had the wherewithal to understand that there was something very profound, and that on the spot I had to open wide sort of the aperture of my being and accept it on the spot.
Yeah.
And to a certain degree, it's been a gradual step process since then, but I'd say, a good 15 to 20% of the whole deal, I was just like, you know what? I started repeating, I'm alive, alive, and it was radical acceptance on the spot. I had to look at the positive. I had to,
Wow. I'm listening to you and taking you in, and I said, oh my God, after the interview, let's go over to my friend Angela's house. I have to connect you two because I know you guys would both connect. And of course we won't go over there right now, but who knows, maybe we'll do a Zoom, we'll have a Zoom party.
Sure.
But she had not the same exact experience as you, but the way she dealt with it was similar. As I saw in one of your interviews about there's a higher meaning or a different focus to your life.
Yeah, and I want to say, something in relation to acting, because you work with so many actors, is that I feel that my acting training, being able to imagine myself in another's circumstances in order to play a role, and by extension, sort of the compassion and the empathy you have to have towards others just by virtue of taking on their given circumstances, was to me real training for life. That I literally had to have that same compassion for myself as if I was taking on the role of the new me. And that gave me tremendous empathy towards myself and towards, anyone going through any type of difficulty, be it whatever, cancer, diabetes, Alzheimer's, depression, anxiety, all these things we have to cope with. And this was just one scenario that it was like a role that was just thrust upon me,
How do you use yourself within your, from before you use yourself in your acting? How do you feel it's different, majorly different now that when you play roles?
I'm I'm just getting, back involved in, because in acting, because it's such a severe, medical recovery.
Yeah. Yeah.
But the very interesting thing is that I spent the last 5 years co-creating a television series called Juice Bar, which
Great title.
is a comedy, which is a satire about everything I've been talking about: organic food and spirituality and yoga and astrology and all these things. And it's set in an organic juice bar and health center, like kind of an epic, but very childlike, almost like a Willy Wonka whimsical world. And it's a lot of the spiritual template for the show is Sesame Street and and Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood.
Nice.
Yeah, and a lot of development on the show. We spent, we're 6 years in. I was the head writer. We're 11 episodes out of 14 for season 1 are scripted. We just had finished a round of meetings with Amazon, Netflix, Hulu, NBC, Paramount, Viacom, Warner Brothers. I mean, an epic round of meetings, and there was tremendous interest. But David, this is really interesting. Why? One of the reasons I bring this up about sort of purpose flowing through you, or like meaning, that we predicted the show would be important. A show about health, which is, it's, makes fun of places like Whole Foods and Erewhon and Lassen's and all these stores, the natural marketplace. But it's an educational show. You end up learning a lot about, because no one can agree. That's part of the comedy, but it's these wizards who work at the juice bar, and everyone that comes in with their ailments, like, I've got depression, I've got anxiety, I've got irritable bowel syndrome, I'm afraid I'm going to get coronavirus, and all these things that now we're reopening these conversations with distributors, because it's like ridiculous. There's a tremendous need for this show, because after this, everything sort of settles a little bit with the social distancing and the masks and the Lysol and the Purell and everything. I mean, that's understandable. That's the front lines of defense. But I think the dialogue is going to shift dramatically to, how do we get healthy in the first place? How do we boost our immune system? So many people are going to get this virus. I mean, how do we boost our immunity? How do we build up antibodies? And all these other pandemics that we haven't been paying attention to.
Right.
Being brought to the fore, like the diabetes, like the heart condition, all these things that are being brought out with the coronavirus, and so it's things we haven't been looking at with our health.
Well, and it's, that show is perfect because you can enjoy it, you can laugh at it, and whether you know it or not, subconsciously, it's like, oh yeah, I want to go to the juice bar. I want to eat healthy. I want to. So it feeds you in that way, spiritually and through the comedy.
Yeah, it's like an edible set. You're right, David. It's literally like that scene, that reveal when Gene Wilder or Johnny Depp, brings the families into the Willy Wonka, that 2-floor pan where you see, but instead of sugar, it's this cornucopia of like this Organica. It's all these, amazing, like fruits and vegetables and fun, rare herbs from around the planet. It's just this amazing, magical world that's all nature. It's a nature show.
Well, it's so interesting about, what we're going through now, because what was it, I lose track of time. I think it's 5 years now.
Yeah.
No, it's 6 years. Oh my, boom, boom, boom.
Boom, boom, boom.
Right a week before my 50th birthday, I had what I call it is a heart healing.
Wow.
I had a massive heart attack.
Wow, David. Wow.
So I had to switch my diet. I had to switch my exercise.
Sure.
I'm still here, thank God. But I've noticed, I started slipping a little, and, a little more, another cookie or another ice, green tea ice cream. But but then with this happening and having to self-distance and stay home and cook my own food, I have gone back to that, the beginning of that time where I'm really eating healthy again. I'm eating a lot of vegetables and fruit,
Right. Good for
and
you.
I'm cooking better. And I did buy a pack of cookies the other day, but you know, once in a while you can splurge.
Sure. There you go. There you go.
But it's just, I loved your vision of the Willy Wonka, because I grew up that I could keep on wanting to say, what are you, an Aquarius?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
You are?
No, I'm a Scorpio.
Oh, okay. Okay. I don't know a lot about it, but I'm so identifying with you in so many ways, because I
Sure.
grew up loving Halloween. I love, like you said, Willy Wonka. I mean, I want to lick my own wallpaper, but it won't taste this.
Exactly. Exactly. It's a return to childhood. The show is really a return to childhood, you know. And when we were pitching to networks, we found that we were a couple years ahead of time. We were about 2 years ahead of time, because we were in, I think, maybe 2 or 3 years of some of the darkest television programming in recent history. I feel, you know, a lot of these shows, which are very, very well scripted, intelligent, clever, you know, from you know, Handmaid's Tale, Westworld, Game of Thrones, Deadwood. You know, it's just, how many ways can you cut someone's head off? You know, it's like, you know, I can't really stomach the violence, and especially the things that kids are subjected to. So our approach was, let's create shows that are equally engaging, incredible production value, and on your edge excitement, but are more positive and uplifting, and
And
about
have a healing quality.
healing qualities. Yeah. So, but it's interesting how now we're going to reopen these conversations with the distributors to get this show on the air, because
Wow.
now it's like the time that we really need this.
Yeah, it really is. I mean, it's a perfect time.
Yeah.
That you're doing this. I can't
Yeah.
wait. I can't wait to like be watching it every week.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Um,
It's super magical.
and now you're a founding member of. I read Orphan Films.
Yeah. There's been there's different components to what we created, but the overall umbrella is a nonprofit called Arts Alliance for Humanity,
Right.
which is a nonprofit based here at the Santa Monica Playhouse. Amazing, powerful small theater here in Los Angeles. And it's, half of what we do is keeping arts education in schools and in the community, because we all work in the entertainment industry, but we're also, you know, we're arts educators, you know, acting, teaching, screenwriting, you know, with theater, music, dance, visual arts. And so we wanted to create a collective where we fight for arts programs, but the other half is a content collective. So that's narrative film, documentary film, stage plays, and television that we feel really needs a voice that needs to really get out there globally. So Orphan Films is the film unit of that. Yeah.
If you had, I mean, we have the Performing Arts Studio West family watching, as well as the Meet the Biz family watching, and everyone else who is watching. If you had to throw out something about going for your dreams, or being an actor, and using where you are, who you are, what advice would you give?
Well, I'm going to borrow from what one of my idols, Mr. Fred Rogers, you know, used to say, which is that, you know, there's no one on the planet that is uniquely you. You know, there's no one, just to paraphrase a bit, there's nobody with your particular perspective and emotions and sensitivities and body and cultural background and experiences. I mean, we're so unique. So, you know, I think being an actor and going through that process of training as an actor, and all the in-depth training it requires, and the endurance it requires to be a performer, to be a writer. One of the things that can't be stressed enough is really embracing who you are. You know, and embracing the uniqueness of you, which sometimes can feel like the parts of you that are strange or crooked or dark or messed up or broken, you know. And it's literally, that's become my philosophy in life and of acting, is that we're, you know, we were created in this divine image of perfection, you know, and that includes every bump and scar and hair and every trauma you've experienced. And that goes super deep, David, you know, with everything we're going through now, every emotion, everything we're struggling with now, whether it's, you know, cosmic or it's toilet paper, you know, like whatever it is, it's like things are all divinely connected, you know. So I think that deep personal acceptance of yourself is one of the biggest keys in being an actor, being an actor and having a powerful voice as an artist, you know.
Thank you for today.
Yeah.
I'm just taking you in, and I felt like I got a healing from you.
Fantastic.
I mean, especially, I mean, everything you've said, but even by being you, because especially in this business, growing up, you know, a lot of times we feel like we have to, what do they want me to be? How can I make them like me? And it's not that. It's exactly what you said.
Yeah.
You bring yourself, flaws and all, and the way you said it, you didn't use flaws because they aren't flaws.
Right.
They're beauty marks. They're pieces of you that are you.
Exactly. And there's something that happens when you start to come through with being genuine and authentic as an artist. And this can be when you're playing something close to yourself or a total transformative character role. But when you start to speak from that authentic, true place in your soul and your voice and your heart, you start to see that it really impacts people. And they start to not feel so alone. They start to feel included, you know. So I totally agree, David. It's like, we go through that process of first wanting to fit in and modeling based on other people. And you start to figure out that's a fun house. That's a hall of mirrors, you know, where you make yourself nuts trying to fit into what, you know, there's no rules. And that extends to the industry, how your trajectory of your career is going to be uniquely yours, you know. So.
Well, thank you again, and let's keep in touch. We have to do.
Yeah.
I seriously want to get like
so many things to talk about. Yeah.
I know. I was like, oh, I want to do more, but we will. Yeah. We will. And come visit us at Performing Arts Studio West one of these days when we open up again.
Absolutely. I want to make myself available to. It's a good time, you know, for me to be hyper creative, and I'm getting into prosthetic legs now, and that whole process. I just getting going with that, and, you know, fundraising for the super high tech kinds and everything. And
I saw the GoFundMe.
There's a GoFundMe. I'm going for the super robotic legs, where, you know, as an actor, I can really be very versatile, because I did, you know, do stunts and everything, and you know, perform on stage. So to have those high functioning prosthetic legs is really important to me. So.
Do you have a website, or is there somewhere?
Yeah, you know, the best place actually is to go to the GoFundMe site, because it has so much of the videos and background and everything that's happened to me since the accident, and where my journey is now with the artistic work. But it's, you know, look up my name on GoFundMe, Obi, and then Ndefo, my last name. But it has, ironically, the most fully comprehensive, you know, just media and descriptions about what I'm doing, you know, and what I'm going through. So.
Thank you. I'll be seeing you around.
Yes, for sure. We're planting seeds here for the future, for sure.
Yes. Thank you.
Okay, you're welcome. Take care.
You too.
Be safe. Okay, bye-bye.